Right, but the issue is it goes up because the one that I had with her, it was 9 cents when she was 35. And then it was 21 cents. Then it became 55 cents. I've memorized that policy by heart. And it was $1.37. All right. So if you multiply that by 250, the 9 cents would have been 22.50. The 21 cents would have been 52.50 when she was 40. This is 35. 45, 55, and 65. And this would have been $107.50, and this would have been $345. That's the cost of insurance. Every 8 to 10 years it goes up. So here's what happens, right? I don't know if you guys have seen the QA, but there's a faucet, right? And the faucet tells you that, hey, you pay the premium, it goes to different buckets, right? So cost of insurance, you have the fees, and then if there's any extra money, it goes to the cash value. So we're gonna use this, right? So the cost of insurance when she's 35, $22.50. The fees, let's just say $131.50. It may be more or less, but they can charge you up to $131.50. How much is that? $154, right? Because she's paying $200, her cash value is $46 for the first year, right? Now, this goes up every year, right? So we're just gonna do, again, 10-year increments. When she's 45 years old, now this is $52.50, $131.50. Now what do you got? Well, you got $184, right? So now you only have $16 going into the policy. 8 to 10 years later, now your cost of insurance is $107.50. This is $131.50. Okay. How much is that? $241? $241, right? Now what happens? Now you're minus, because if you're only paying $200, right? You do not have enough premium. And this is why they say it's a flexible premium, because if there is any cash value, right, they're going to start taking money from here. Now this is at a 345. Now how much is that? Yeah, 372. 470, okay, let's just say that. Now you're at minus 276. When you start running out of money, guess what? Your policy is going to lapse and you will have no money. So this is exactly what happens to all these cash value policies. Every single one, it doesn't matter. You just have to learn how to calculate it. And the thing is, I always tell people the numbers do not lie. They never lie to you, okay? So I'm going to just show you real examples of statements of clients that I've had, okay? This one here, if you look at, she pays $630 a month for her life insurance. Yeah. These are Transatlantic. All right. She has put in a total of $45,000, almost $46,000, and look at her surrender value, $14,341. What happened to 31 grand? You know what the surrender charge is there for? They pay so much commission, right? That somehow they got to get that money back. So they impose that surrender charge. Okay. This client, I had warned her 4 years ago. She didn't listen to me. She kept continuing because I guess the person that she worked with had more credibility than I did. But guess what? I came back to Vegas and I said, pull up your statement. This is what I got. I said, now do you believe me? Sometimes they got to get screwed over just to believe you, right? And I don't like to say that, but sometimes when people are getting screwed over, it's their own fault. Even when we try to warn them. Okay, another example, right here. This is, oh, sorry, right here. See, paid $3,489, right? Since May of 2022. Her monthly premium is $387.71. Look at her surrender value, 0. Even though there's cash value $2,000, right? It doesn't matter because guess what? You have a surrender charge. They're going to keep that money. Every single client, man, every single one. So what do we tell people? Buy term and invest it different, right? Because that client that I showed you, she could have bought a policy for $40, saved $160, and that $160 with compound interest for 35 years could be way over $500,000. Now she would be self-insured, right? That other client that was paying $630, she actually already had an existing Primerica policy that she was paying less than $120 with her kids on the rider. But what happened? She lost all that money. I said, that $630 you put under your pillow, it would be way more than $14,000. Under your pillow. Imagine if it was actually invested. So what do they say about Transamerica, right? First of all, I do want to say that before I go to this one, Transamerica has paid $195 billion in a class action suit because of the cost of insurance increases, because of the misrepresentation of the products. Okay, then they paid another $88 million 2 years later. If you just Google class action suits against IUL, it's endless. Endless. So when I talked to my friend, she said, Sheila, you know, when we go to these seminars, there's like thousands of people. I said, I can imagine. I said, that's why thousands of people are also being screwed over. So we need that louder voice, like Samir said. Now, if you go on consumeraffairs.com, you will also see reviews of all different insurance companies. Now, do you believe every single review? Sometimes people are just mad, right? But if it's consistent that people are pissed off, something's wrong, right? So this is the worst insurance company. They come up with all kinds of excuses to keep from paying out. I'm dropping my policy as soon as possible. And remember how you said that it takes, 2 hours to, to talk to somebody? I've witnessed that because I've been on the phone with clients, and you know what? Sometimes they scared of all if you cancel. But what do we tell people? You don't cancel a policy until you have something in place, right? Never tell people to cancel the policy without anything being this. Because the health, as me being a healthcare worker in the past for almost 26 years, your health can change in a second. So they need that coverage, okay? But you got to make sure that that replacement is being processed, right? And make sure that it's actually approved and issued before you tell them to cancel. Okay, enough is enough. I'm ready to hire an attorney. Tired of lies and run around with this company. Week after week with no solution to any problems at hand. I was reading, and yes, they can be sued for not paying out claims. I'm going for it. No stars would be more appropriate. Before I started comparison, I received a check from another life insurance policy within 2 weeks of the death being reported. So I know that Transamerica treats its customers badly. My mother died in late October. It took over 4 months to receive a check from Transamerica, and that was only after I threatened legal action. Okay. And you feel bad about, we should never feel bad about doing the right thing. Never, because this is out there. I can go on, and no company that sells IUL is exempt from this, because I've read policies from different companies. I have, when I sit with a client, it's funny because they always say, here, Sheila, just keep it. So I'm pissed off. Use it as an example for other clients so that they don't fall into the same trap. And I don't want to ruin relationships because usually they're sold by people that they care about. But guess what, man? When it comes to money, people do not care. And then my friend who tried to recruit me actually was, when she was trying to recruit me, she told her that the person that recruited her told her that the best person to recruit are people from Primerica because they don't make money. And I said, you know what? How many times I've been recruited, but all these different companies, almost every time. And you know what I tell them? I'm sorry, I don't sell garbage. I may make less money, but I sleep at night well. All right. So, any questions? No. And by the way, with all these policies, always look at the guaranteed versus non-guaranteed values, okay? And that is because these people, they always tell people to pay attention to the non-guaranteed. I'm going to show you one right now. Give me 1 second. And it's never, 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 ever, ever good when you look at the guaranteed. Thomas, can I drop this? To you. Oh, okay, my bad. Because I don't know about you guys, but if somebody tells you that, oh, we guarantee this and we don't guarantee this, what are you going to believe? Guarantee. Thomas here, I gave you the whole file, but I want him to look at one last thing. All right. Any questions, guys, before I pull up this last slide?
Hey Sheila,
And I talk with a lot of passion because it really pisses me off. Imagine if somebody did this to me. They would be all over social media. Yes.
so I wanna just throw something out there that has worked for me in the past, like if you're out there in the field, like in 2020, I went into someone with this IUL and they had it for like 2 months. And long story short, because he didn't understand what he purchased, they actually refunded the whole cash value minus any surrender charges. Like I got him all this money back.
That's good.
I did that once. So now that 2 hour long phone call this week, I was like, let me try it again. And so now they're about to pay him back, not just the cash value, but we wrote a letter requesting all
The premiums?
everything that he ever gave them, they're gonna return it.
There you go.
You just have to ask.
Right.
And like go to war for your client.
So actually go to the last page. This one. Okay, so here you go. Guaranteed versus non-guaranteed, right? So it says that 250 is the face amount, right? And look at this. Guaranteed assumptions after paying for 20 years. Her guaranteed cash surrender value is a whopping $7,504 after paying how much? $48,000.
Oh my.
And if she dies, beyond that, look, there's no money and the death benefit is also zero. So the policy lapses anyways. And here's the thing, right? Now, remember how we have the banks and fridges where you say, you want your money to be, you want to keep your money or do you want the bank to keep it? Well, this is a living example where if you look at, if this person passed away, right? And she had any cash value in the policy, they don't add it to the death benefit. The company keeps it. And that's why when you buy term and invest the difference, not only will beneficiaries get the death benefit, they will also get all of the investments that the client has. And this is why investments are great products, insurance are great products, they should just never be together. And they should never be any kind of those permanent policies. Now for the middle class. Yes.
I was arguing with this between the client and the New York Life agent, who said, "Oh, she only has 2 years left for a paid-up policy." How would you argue with that? The paid-up, 15-year paid-up policy, universal life.
So with the whole life, right? And I could train on the next one, but with a paid-up policy, right? Usually they've paid a lot of money, right? So if they have 2 years into the policy, you just have to argue, like, how much is the cash value right now? It's either you're going to cut your losses now or you're going to cut your losses later. So it means that you're paying more money. So you're really just funding your own whole life insurance. And this is what gets me, right? Why the hell do you want to fund your own life insurance? Right? So with the whole life, right? If they have any cash value, they can still get that money, whatever is in there. So the question is, how much is she willing to pay every month? And does that even add up to how much she would get 2 years later? Because like I said, when I talk to clients like this, I say, you either cut your losses now or you cut your losses later. Do you want to not have, you want to pay 48,000, get 7,500 back? That's a no-brainer. The numbers will never lie to you. People can lie all the time, right? But numbers, it's right there. I didn't make anything up. It's the policy, right? So I told her, look, because this client, the husband was actually the breadwinner and the husband didn't even have a policy, I was appalled, right? These people are just trying to sell. They're not educating their clients. So for this client, I gave her, actually, can you go back to the cost of insurance? This is the cost of insurance for that client. You see how it's different? I just want to show you. 35 is 9 cents, right? And go forward to 45. This is what it's supposed to be, 21 cents. So I just wanted to prove that I'm not lying to you guys. 55 right here, it's 55 cents, and 65 is like $1.30. But I wanted to show that this is the right one, okay? I have so many policies, that's why. Yes. I'm sorry, Bankers Life, okay. Do you, if,
Used to have that. I don't know if they had like that. Had like weird stuff at the bottom, you know, no fine print.
lots of fine print notes.
Yeah, they're always like, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you know, but you gotta die this way.
So my suggestion for you is ask a copy of the policy.
I don't have any.
Yeah, bring it.
Right.
Bring it, because the fine print is fine print that they make it really hard to understand, so that you don't read it. That's the purpose of that, right? They really don't want you to understand it. If she got it when you were young, it's probably one of those cash value policies, right? Because with Primerica, unbeknownst to a lot of people, maybe you guys do know this, we already know that, you know, kids, how much insurance does a kid really need? Not much, right? Because nobody's depending on that kid's income. But if something, God forbid, were to happen to that kid, you want to make sure you have enough money to bury that child properly. And the nice thing about our product is if you have a child rider in the policy built in, it can be converted to an adult policy when they turn 18, up to 125,000 of coverage. And that's no medical exam. So if there was a pre-existing condition that the child developed during that time, they could convert it, right? And how many times have you seen now that kids are having heart issues? We have kids that are severely depressed, right? So the child rider is a. All right, any other questions? I'm ready to sign off. Sorry, I took. Okay, I did it, sorry.
You know, it takes a lot of knowledge and experience to come up and do that kind of training where you're going through the intricacies of how a policy works and, you know, going through the numbers and the calculations and all of that stuff. And she started, some of you guys are sitting in the room right now, like I have no idea what she's talking about, right? Like, Kiki, your daughter, that's your daughter, right? You know, she may be thinking like, what was all of that? Don't worry, we all started that way. I came into business at 22. This was literally like a different language for me. It was like a different language to Sheila. But here's what'll motivate you to learn quick, right? Who you just presented to, they were spending $600 a month, and then the husband got proposed a policy for $1,000 a month. You know, then Eunice's client, or it says Eunice's client? No, then Eunice's client, what's the quote among these three, just in the last few days?
So for that 1,600 for that couple, the other one is almost 2,000 a month.
Right, but what's your quote?
Oh, for our quote for this
Yeah.
client, it would be like 120 for the $500,000.
So 120 plus,
Or 126 or something like
Yeah.
that. But for the husband, for $1 million would have been like, not boyfriend, would have been less than 400.
400 a month.
Yeah.
So that's 525, and then Eunice's client,
For the other one.
potential
Potentially it
500.
would be like 500 something.
500.
But, yeah.
So it's that comes out to 1,000 a month, and then she's at a 70% contract, right? So that's 8,400 in commission. So Dylan, there's an incentive to actually learn it. Like if I came to a boring ass class in the morning, you know, at Nova or George Mason, it's not going to translate into income for me, right? But when I used to come to these meetings, I was like, okay, I got to learn how to read a policy, do a couple calculations here and there, or at a very minimum, make an introduction to Sheila. She will do all of it, and then we can share the commission. But there's a huge incentive to be able to learn how to do this because it'll immediately turn into income in your pocket by doing the right thing. I always like to remind people that we never have to worry about how much money we make because she made 8,400, but how much did the client save over time, right? We make $8,400 and the client is spending less than before we walked in the door. Most businesses like these other companies, they're getting the clients to spend more, right? So we got to end soon. I want Ismaldo to come up here, but I just want to show you something, right? Whenever you hear people defending cash value policies, IUL policies, whole life policies, they always speak in terms of hypotheticals. Like it works like this can happen. You can do this, you can do that, right? Let me just show you very simply. I just sent you two pictures. I just found this right now, right? I just went to a couple different, I logged into a couple different investment accounts. And